Hi, everyone. Ken Rakowski, and this is Metal Connect, where we get to spend some time with one of the metal speakers and dive deep into their principles, their ideas, and their philosophies. This week's speaker is a young guy that's really taken things by storm. He's got a ton of books out. He's been on stage. He's considered one of those, and I don't want to call him a motivational speaker because he's not. He's an inspirational speaker.
Thank you.
Inspiration is a different type of power. And I'm really happy to have him hang out with us, and I have to apologize to him really quick. So Roy, when you were on Saturday's Metal, I spelled your name wrong.
I saw that, but I didn't bring it up, but that's okay.
I saw it later on, and I apologize right away. So first, you and I, buddy, we're both tea drinkers. Liking that. I'm a teaholic.
How do you know it's tea and not, the cup? Okay.
No, the bag.
Oh.
All right. So what I want to do is I want you to think this out. I want you as if you're about to introduce yourself as a third person. So you are going to be your wingman.
Okay.
And in my idea of the perfect intro, you always are able to do the speed to cool. How fast can you get people to say, damn, is that person cool? And that speed to cool, it's hard to do. So at Metal, we get people, when they first come to our stage, they have to get up on stage and they have to do a speed to cool. And that means, who are they? What do they do? And what makes them cool? And what makes them cool is not the obvious. Because some guys here, you know, they might have 7 kids and they put them all through college. That's really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool. Cool's got to be that thing that's like slaying a dragon.
Yeah.
Okay? So do me a favor, grab that virtual stage and introduce yourself. Go for it.
My name is Roy Red. I'm a 4-time best-selling author, internationally recognized speaker, and business advisor. And what makes me cool is I don't give you just concepts and ideas. I tell you what to do, and when you do it, it works.
No, not going to take it. Not going to take it. That's not slaying a dragon. I want you to slay. I'll give you an example, okay? One of the guys in the group, his speed to cool is he had a threesome with Miss Norway and Mick Jagger. Okay, that's one. My speed to cool was I was kidnapped and held hostage in Florida, and my parents came and saved me. One more speed to cool on my front. I went to the seminary to become a priest. 2 years later, I was a stripper for Chippendales. Okay, you ready to do it again?
Let's do it.
Go for it.
My name is Roy Red, and I walked in to my ex-girlfriend with cheating on me with a guy with dreadlocks.
I mean, it ain't cool, but it's bad, but I'm going to take it.
Look, as I was working through it, you see the pain? Did you feel that?
I did see that.
I couldn't even get it out.
I did see that. Oh,
the question is, what happened afterwards?
Yeah, what happened afterwards?
She ran in the room, and I was just like, and my friend who was living with me at the time was there, and he was like, tell him what's going on. And this guy was like, hi, my name's, I forget his name. He was Dusty, and he's like, I've been talking to your girl, sleeping with your girl, and da 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 da. And we worked it out as a man. It was not his fault. And then, you know, the hard part is you can't just kick someone out. I had to serve her a 30-day notice. So she's around here. It was like 11 days after the kick out. And that was right after, I don't know if I told the story last time, but I had to push my 1987 Honda Accord on the 10 freeway when they were building the center median. I had to push it by myself 2 miles because my car broke down. No money, depressed, went back home, and that happened.
Oh my God.
But when I was pushing the car, I told myself I'll take responsibility for everything that happens in my life, even if I didn't do it. And so right when I got home and that happened, it was almost like it was meant to happen because I took responsibility for that situation and I just let her go. And it was my fault. Whatever I didn't deliver is why she did that. It was my fault.
But that's like the higher power saying, all right, I'm going to test you now.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw literally one of the biggest bombs on you.
Yeah.
And you needed it, right? I mean, that was like a game changer for you.
It was a moment of clarity that I really needed, and high emotion, high pain. It changed me and changed my brain.
Wow. I guess we all have that. Rob Angelo, who's joining us, you had that moment of clarity when you were a waiter. So by the way, Rob, can you unmute yourself, Rob? I want some video, buddy. I want to see your beautiful face. There he is.
There he is.
That moment of you being a waiter, what was that moment of clarity for you?
The switch from waiter to not?
Yeah, the waiter to what you became.
The moment of clarity when I got started writing, as you know, the word aardvark, right? For me, it was tough as hell. Just because I told myself I was a game inventor, I didn't have the brain capacity to just say the strength to become one. So I wrote the word aardvark and then another word. And it took about 1,000 words and about 2 months for me to believe it. But once I did, it was all in, full steam ahead.
So you had to go through a transition period, right? Or did
I
you
went through transition, yes.
And how did you come up with the name Pictionary? Was that just popped out of your head?
I was playing Pictionary with some friends, and there was an old game called Fictionary, which became Balderdash. And it was like, right? Friend of mine, I just talked to her, the gal invented it a couple of days ago. And so I was like, oh, pictures, dictionary, Fictionary. And it was dead simple, right on target.
I love it. We all go through those transitions. I'm excited. So what I want to do, Roy, is this.
Yep.
First, you're a young guy. How old are you?
33. I'll be 33 on the 5th.
Okay, a 5th of August.
Yes.
Okay, you're 33 years old, and I have to tell you, you are much further than most guys that are in their 50s and 60s. Okay, so you've done some light speed journeys there. Just accomplishing one book is monumental, but having, 4 books?
4 that are published, but got a lot of them.
And speaking on stage and transforming people's lives, you have a formula. So
Yes.
Old dogs like us, we have a lot to learn from somebody like you because you figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is being uncomfortable is important, isn't it?
It's everything. People say you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable, but you never get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to feel the emotions and just go do it anyway. When I gave my first speech to 600 people, I had to go get right with God. I left, I had to pray. I was about to throw up. And the one thing that I noticed was after I was done with that speech, someone came up to me and was like, you were so confident and congruent in front of all these people. How are you able to be so confident? And then it hit me. And that's what led me onto my work that I do with the athletes is how you feel doesn't matter. It's how you take action. And so one thing I tell my athletes is they say, I want to be more confident. I go, well, what if you weren't confident, but you made every shot in clutch time? Would you want that? And they go, yeah. So it's not the confidence, it's not the emotions we want. What we want is the ability to act in the present of those emotions. And so being able to deal with whatever you feel in that moment and still choose your actions is what I believe is the key.
But confidence comes from all that then.
After you get proof that you perform the action. But until you perform the action, you're just working on courage. The only difference between courage and confidence is confidence feels good, courage doesn't feel good. But the action's the same.
It's true. So talk to us about that process of working. Pick a sport. Give us an athlete that you don't need to say their name, but what sport are they in?
I could say this guy's name, Alan Crabb, NBA, out of the league right now, but played for Portland, Minnesota, Atlanta, and Brooklyn.
And how did you connect with him? And then what was that process?
So my first book. So someone told me that you write a book, it positions you as an expert. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just wrote the book. And his trainer, who his name was Casey Trekkie at the time, got a hold of the book and asked me, what you do talk about in this book, does it work on athletes? And I said, yeah. And they flew me to Portland to work with him. And I won't say what he was struggling with, but I could say it. He felt nervous at the end of games, which is fine. So we got to the root of why he felt nervous, which is always something that happened in the past. And we worked through it and we reframed it, which means we just created a mind abstraction. We made up what we wanted to happen in that past thing that happened to him. And then it made him able to act how he wanted to in the future. And then after that day, he turned into a monster, man, hitting game-winning shots. He had one play where he had a layup and decided to take a three, and he knocked it down, and he threw his arms back and was screaming. And we're just able to transform his mind and put him in a state of plasticity and change him in an instant.
So the hardware stays the same. It's the software that gets recoded, reprogrammed.
Exactly. I was just thinking of new ways to explain that. It's crazy you said software. I was thinking of explaining it that way, of upgrading your software or changing the software of your mind. The hardware stays the same, but the software is what changes.
It's kind of fascinating because if you look at Tesla, Tesla is the most valuable car company, but it's not a car company. It's a technology company. The car hardware stays the same, but they constantly update the software to do incredible things. That's why the car is at such high value. Our bodies, that's the hardware that fix in the brain. But here you're doing it as an outside observer. Hey, this is your problem. Let's go deep. Let's talk about your childhood past. You could do all that psychobabble mumbo jumbo. How do we do it for ourselves? How do you take Lon Ray? Here's Lon Ray. Lon Ray's an actor. Lon Ray's got not 6-pack, he's got an 8-pack. It's insane. Lon Ray, I love him. He knows it. I've been around the world like 8 times with him. He should be in a better place. Sorry, Lon Ray, I'm calling you out, buddy.
Here's the key. As what we have to figure out is, what is better place? What is better? So
Ask him.
Lon Ray, if we had this conversation in a year from now, and you were looking back on this conversation, what has to happen in your life and in your career for you to be happy with your progress?
Let's see. I'm currently on 2 TV shows. I'd love an additional movie. I'd also love to get several of the film and TV projects that I'm working on as a producer greenlit, and I'd like to have a steady source of income through my health and wellness business.
What do you perceive as holding you back from that?
Probably, if I had to say, let me give it some thought. Distracted focus.
Can I just want to jump into something here.
Go for it.
Lon Ray says something I hear a lot of people that want to elevate themselves say, and that is, I want this, this, and this. But almost everything he said, he is not in complete control of.
Yeah.
I want a movie. That means someone else has to have that. I want to do this. Where I believe we're in a better place. And I look at Mike Nichols, a great example. Mike creates his own scalable path on what he does. He imports everything in, he designs it, he manufactures it, and he sends it out. He's in charge unless an embargo happens and he can't get his garments or his fabrics. Where Lon Ray, remember we talked about the school for Wakanda, the acting school, right? Acting school just for people of color. That's it. That's all you do. Riches are in the niches. You're in charge of that. You own that. You can take that out. You could scale that. And you're the only one that can fuck that up.
That's a fact. And that's where I was going to go, is you have to take responsibility for the result, Line Ray, even though it seems like you're not the person picking. Because what happens is in the brain is when you take fuller responsibility, even for whoever has to choose you's decisions, your brain then brings obstacles and distinctions forward. And you start to see what I call unexpressed requests from other people. They're there if you look for them, and you won't look for them until you take responsibility for all of it. You'll find little distinctions, maybe little pieces, little things you didn't say, little persuasion things that you can do to get them to hire you. Two, then you could just know your numbers. How many auditions does it take till you get booked? If it's 100, then if you want 5 bookings, then you need to go on 500 auditions. So you can go at it at a mathematical way and also as a way of taking total responsibility, and those distinctions will show up. Once you have a vision and you know exactly what you want, what you do, and it's measurable, your brain then puts obstacles in the way. And then all you have to do is change those obstacles into what you want. The obstacles are the actual raw material you need to cook up your dreams, to activate your dreams. Vision, obstacles, take those obstacles, put them on your calendar and transform them. And there's only 2 ways to transform things: perception and action. And it usually takes a little bit of both. So whatever is you perceiving is getting in your way, change that perception, because you can believe anything you want to believe. It's your choice. And then 2, take massive action. And that's it. And then you just change those obstacles. And when those obstacles transform, it's done.
It sounds so easy.
It really is. Complexity is just simplicity multiplied. That's all it is.
All right.
All right.
What's that mean? Are you going to get rid of that that beard? Are you going to get rid of that? Are you going to I'm serious, man, because what's that group that radical group in Nigeria, the Boko Haram? They want you to come back out there and just, smuggle some more women in.
Yeah.
Like James Harden in his next biography.
But Lanre, when you say you project that isn't that interesting? We project where we want to be based upon the information we have today.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go, let's just say I'm 250 pounds and I'm 100 pounds overweight, and you go, where do you see yourself next year if you could be in great shape? I probably say, boy, I'd like to lose 50 pounds. But what happens if I lose 50 pounds in the first 6 months and I still have another 6 months? I've already exceeded what I thought I would, so I couldn't have visualized it 6 months ago. So to move forward, I could actually even double up more, right? So isn't part of this, Roy, is to be audacious, or is audacious dangerous when you want to visualize in the future?
Audacious is fine. It's really what you choose. So it's a time trick. Everything mental is always a time trick. So what we do when we have a goal is we go to our past and we take what we know from our past and we try to pull it to the present to do what we know to create our goals in the present. But what we need to do is go to the future and pull the future back to the present and embody that future. And you can't do that until you make space, brain pattern space, by recreating the past or being aware of the past. That's what takes a little bit of work and a little bit of skill. But if you say you want to lose 50 pounds and you go to your past knowledge, you're going to say, well, it's all about calories. I need to work, burn more calories than I eat. But that's really not the whole thing, right? Stress comes into it, lipogenesis comes into it, so much science stuff comes into it. But if you went into the future and then you create new capabilities and bring that future back to the present, then you can maybe eat more and still lose weight. You know what I mean? You can create more possibility for that future and hit those goals and transform those obstacles.
So Lanre is a work in progress. I know that.
We all are all the time.
I look in the future and I know what you look like, Lanre. I see you probably differently than you see yourself. And I see you in a very grandiose, amazing place. And I don't, maybe many of us see, like when Mike looks at me, Mike Nichols, Mike sees me differently than where I see me. And I know that, Mike, and you bring that up to me all the time. And I'm wondering, how do we help the people that we love? Love, not that we lust or, the people we love and care about. How do we help them to see the vision we see them as without offending them?
That is super tough because, for example, I can help anyone get in shape, but my family would never ask me for that help. I'm right here. I'm available. There was a quote, I believe it was in the Bible. It says, a prophet has much honor except with his own family and with his own friends. And the problem with that is because it's time again, they see you as you were and not as you are. You know, they see me as the dude I was when I wasn't disciplined and I didn't know what I was talking about. They don't see me as I am when I have the information. And so with them, you can't cast pearls among swine. You have to wait till they're ready and your results are so great that they come to you and ask you. You can't push it onto them. So with family and with friends, it gets extremely tough. But Lonnery, I want to ask you a question. If you achieved your wildest dreams right now, if they were achieved right now, what would you do to contribute to society, to people?
Hmm. I would offer free health and wellness kind of as healthcare.
Mhm.
What I would do it in a much more comprehensive way, kind of like you mentioned, you know, it's not just diet and exercise. A lot of times it's, you know, there are of course genetic components, there's allergies, there are all kinds of other behavior patterns and thought patterns that need to be broken down. So I would do that. I would create kind of an institute of healthcare through, you know, fitness and wellness. I would also tell empowering stories globally that unify people. So both as an actor and as a producer, all those stories would push difficult conversations along. I've never seen a more difficult topic handled better than through comedy. So I think that would be one of the things that I would do.
And honestly, Lonray, you would
Yeah.
give Martin Scorsese his glasses back, right?
No, I stole them from him. I'm keeping them.
Ken is good. That was a pattern interrupt at the right perfect time. I was just going to do that. He's really good. Now, did you guys see his physiology change and him lighten up when he was talking about what he would do?
Yep.
See that? So you need to, if you're doing that, give that person that future identity. That's your true identity. Give that person a name. And maybe you can't think of it right now, but think about that. When you're in that future and you're living that, mine is Motivational Billy. I want to motivate and inspire 1 billion people before I go. So my identity is Motivational Billy. Billy, think about that person, give it a name. And then once you give it a name, how do we actually make that guy come into life? And the way to make that guy come into life is to get rid of distractions, okay? You gotta cut them out. Take that cell phone, delete numbers, change that number. I have my athletes do this. I have them put a thing that says on their voicemail, I have a new phone number. If you don't have my new phone number, you're out of my life. Don't talk to me.
Ooh.
I'm serious. Anybody you got to look at everyone in your life, and anyone who doesn't move you to that true identity, that name, that person that you're going to give, cut them. Stay focused, no distractions. If you cataloged your day, how much do you do that fits what that future guy does?
Percentage wise? 70.
70? Good. That's really good. Get that up to 90, 95, 100. And you can still do the things you want to do, but when you wake up, go straight into that identity, embody that. You can even create a totem. My totem is my suit. A totem is a piece of cloth, a watch, something that when you put it on, you embody that future identity. And then go into that 90% of your day and spend time on that. And then if, leave 1 or 2 hours at the end of the day to watch a movie or text one of the someone you love, but they don't fit your save a little bit of time at the end of the day. But don't start your day with your phone in your face, because then that sets the thing for the day and it throws you off. And it could be anything, not just the phone.
Patterns are really important. So, Roy, I know that to get in shape, what we have to do, caloric intake, got to make sure we work out, make sure positive, stress, sleep, all those things, right? We know that there's some kind of traditional formula.
Yeah.
But none of us are really handed a pattern for how we should wake up, how we should go to bed, how we program the software properly Have you figured a pattern out?
Yes. So obviously your pattern should fit your goals, but consolidation takes place best right when you wake up and right before you go to sleep. And what that is what your hippocampus remembers, because your brain is in a plastic state because it's getting, and it decides what's important while you're asleep. It thinks that the things you did before you went to sleep and the things you did right when you woke up are important. So those is what it embeds into your nervous system. And so for me, no social media for the first couple hours. I wake up. The first thing I do as soon as I open my eyes is I go into gratitude. I say, yes, thank you, God. Thank you for another one. Yo, I get another. I literally say that right when I wake up, and it just puts me into gratitude. I'll get up, I'll do some breathing exercises, and just soak in that gratitude, because things that you're grateful for, like I'll take care of a brand new Mercedes better than I take care of a Honda Civic, right? Because I am grateful, more grateful for that Mercedes. You know, it's things that you are super grateful for, you take care of. And so if you're super grateful for your life, as soon as you wake up, then you really, it puts you on the right path. Then I look at my calendar, my performance book. I use the, where is it at? The Zig Ziglar.
Zig
I use the
Ziglar.
Zig Ziglar performance planner. I love this thing. Just touching it. And one thing about having a really good planner that you spend a lot of money on is it tells your brain that what you're writing in this thing is important. If you write it just on a piece of paper or something that is not, that doesn't have any value, your brain goes, this is shit. So you have to get a planner that it has to cost a lot because it's a commitment. And then when you write in it, your brain says, this is important because I paid $100 for this thing, right? And then from there, I just get on, I look at my task by priority, and I go task by task by task until at least 2 p.m., 3 p.m.
You're very systematic. I get it.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if a lot of guys that are here or watching this, where COVID has affected them, they've gotten in that rut, they don't see it as an opportunity. You know, they're not, because I'm a tactile person. I need to not see people, but be around people. I feed off their energy. So I get in the rut every once in a while because it's like I'm not around people. Like Big Mike
Yeah.
pops over every once in a while, and it's like first thing I want to do is I just want to hug him. It's like, oh man, it's so good to see, and he knows that because I need that tactile connection.
Yeah.
But since I can't have it, and many of us can't, how do we get out of that rut? Because we're all powerful entities here. How do we get back to our power point, that strength that we have?
So there's 4 happy chemicals that the brain uses generically, right? Dopamine, oxytocin, endorphins, and serotonin. And so there's 6 human needs that we need to get in order to get those chemicals: love and connection, growth and improvement, um, working out. And what we have to do is we have to systemize, or even if it's not a system, you have to get those human needs. And some of us like more needs than others. So I'm a serotonin freak, and serotonin is a feeling of pride and status. And so I don't mind being by myself because I know if I put this work in by myself, I'm going to achieve something in the light that gives me that pride and status. You might be an oxytocin guy where you need that connection. And look what you've done. You connect the best people in the world. You're a connector. So oxytocin might be your thing. You got to get it. You gotta, and you get it from physical touch. You get it from, just connecting. Helping others is one way you give it, by giving. And so,
How do we identify what chemical we need that would best suit us then based upon what you just said? That's interesting.
mhm. So which one, just identify which one makes you feel the best. Like, okay, here you go. If you embody that person when you're massively successful, how do you feel? Okay. If you feel prideful and status, you're a serotonin guy. If you feel loved, you're an oxytocin person. If you feel endorphins are just from working out, so we all are going to get those. And then the dopamine is if you feel like you need to go for more, then you're a dopamine person.
Big Mike, what are you? Can't hear you, Big Mike.
Oxytocin guy. I'm more like you, probably.
You're not.
Connection.
Matt, what are you? Matt Mahoney, what are you?
And I was sitting here trying to figure it out. I've got a lot of each one of them, so I was curious to hear a little bit more.
Can you have a cocktail? Can you do a cocktail of all this? Why is it possible?
It's like certain achievements give me certain different gratifications, so I try to achieve each one of those little things throughout the day, so I get that balance of fix.
A
Yeah, I get
balance of
that.
clutch.
Here's a challenge. Roy, and please don't take it like you're today's therapist and we're picking on you, okay? That's not the idea. I want to turn to Matt for a second. So Matt did the whole clothing line. He's going to be a fashion king, and things are going okay, but they didn't go the speed he wanted. So now he's got to do that pivotal pivot, not just in his fashion line, but as a person. Am I right, Matt?
Yeah.
So how do you take somebody that is a positive guy moving forward, but starts to feel, when you put like a rubber band around you as you're trying to move forward and something's pulling you back all the time? I bet you that's how you feel at times, right, Matt?
Yeah.
How do you break free of that gravitational pull of that rubber band, Roy? What do you do?
So a couple things. I actually had this conversation with my cousin who's a singer, and you gotta be patient because everyone is gonna go through their dip. Seth Godin wrote that book. And before you start, you have to consciously tell your person that when shit hits the fan and I go through this dip, I'm gonna get through it, and you'll always get through it. We all have our pendulums, right? We're just like the seasons of life, we have our seasons too. Summertime is my up season where things go good for me. And if you look back at your life, you can see when your up and down seasons are, and you strategically bring your work and your campaigns around your up and down seasons. In the winter, I don't put out that much product or that many campaigns. I'm more saving and I'm learning. I go into learning mode because that's not my season. Summer offers, campaigns, that's when I'm really putting out books and products. Another thing is you have to make sure that you're not disempowering or self-sabotaging yourself. Because a lot of times we could really want that level of success, but we really are afraid of it. And so we self-sabotage ourselves with these little things that we know we should be doing. And
Give us some examples. Or Matt, do you understand what he says? Self-sabotage?
Yeah, self-sabotage was a good one. That kind of hit home.
I've
had fear of success my whole life. I was never scared to try or fail at anything. I had the fear of, holy shit, if I actually get to where I want, is everybody going to still like me? Am I still going to have my friends, my family? So I was always kind of sort of like, I'll go as high as I can, and then I'll be like, all right. And I was always fearful to go to the next level until lately.
So a lot of times we want to be successful in order to fix something. So I remember I told the story on Saturday how my dad walked out when I was 9. I could hear the sound of the door slamming and him walking out, kissing me on my forehead, saying, I love you, but I'm not going to be here every day. I'll get you on the weekends. When he walked out, it was the last time I've ever cried in my life. And 2, I remember as a 9-year-old stopping the tears and saying, tears aren't going to bring your dad back. Being the best basketball player on the planet is what's going to bring your dad back. You need to be successful to get your dad back. And so basketball became my passion, my life goal, my purpose, right? And the moment my dad told me, yo, dude, you can really play. He never told me that. The moment he told me that, I lost all my desire to play basketball because I was trying to be successful in that thing in order to fix something. And so, Matt, maybe this could be you, but why do you want to be successful? Is it in order to fix a feeling? Is it in order to prove someone wrong? Is it in order to fix something that happened as an adolescent? It's a possibility. It's something to look at. And then a lot of times those in order tos, whatever you resist persists. So if you're trying to be successful to fix that thing is always there, right? And so it's always there self-sabotaging you, and you got to let that thing go so you can be free.
So let's ask the question, Matt. You want to be successful in order to what?
I've got 2 reasons. One, I want to be able to give back I just want to be able to touch so many people by doing something in some kind of way, whether it's an experience. I want to change I want to be able to give people an experience and said I was the one that was able to give that to them.
Okay, Matt,
The other one is
real quick. Who did you want to give something to?
when we
As a
first
kid?
engineered our very first shirt, the expression we would get from athletes putting on a shirt that was never tailored to them. They had never met us. And they didn't have to go to a store, but they could go in, pick it out, put it on, and it was the first time in their life they had something that fit them for the very first time. That experience. That's what
Okay,
I
so
wanted to sell.
pause
I
really
wanted
quick.
that bug.
Pause really quick. I want you to think of a specific moment and just whatever pops into your head, just talk about it. A specific moment a long time ago as a kid where you wanted to give and you couldn't give, where you wanted to help and you couldn't help.
I would actually say it was more along friends. I always wanted to be around a lot of friends, and I just was always the outsider. For some reason, I was always outside. And no matter how much I wanted to be on the inside of a group or a friends or I was just always that guy that just kind of stood out.
When was the first time you were an outsider?
Schools, I guess. School. It was always school because I knew friends would always go out and hang out after school, and yet I always went home by myself. And God knows what I did, but it was always, I knew everybody we'd get to school, we'd all hang out, we'd be friends, we'd be cool, and then they would go out. And I was always on the outside.
Did they not accept you, or did you just didn't go try to?
Don't know. I'm trying to figure this out because I always thought the better I was at something, the more people would like me, or the more people would want to be around me. And then I think that ended up turning into maybe they thought I was incredibly competitive, and it was really nothing. I didn't want to outdo them. I wanted to see, hey, Ken and I have actually kind of talked about this. I saw something somebody could do, so I wanted to learn how to do it even better. It really wasn't about the person. It was about, I saw an achievement that was had. I want that, or I want to excel past that.
So I do that too. I try to be successful to be accepted by others. And it kind of goes back to that situation with my dad. But I want to just point something out. When we're kids, we belong. Belonging is huge to a human being. When you're with your family, you belong because it's your family. Now we all have to transition from belonging to our family to belonging to another social group. And if that doesn't go smooth, or we get trapped into a pattern of trying to get into a group, trying to help people, which is fine, but you want to help them to help them. You don't want to help them in order to, because then that just solidifies whatever emotion that is holding you back, self-sabotaging emotion that's holding you back.
I would actually say a long time ago, I started realizing that it was time for me to stop worrying about getting into a group that would accept me and just start finding guys that would accept me. Yes. So there was just a switch. Stop worrying about them. Stop worrying about where you think you're going to be and just start planting your seed. And that's actually why I've been pretty grateful. I've even said something to Ken about just this group. Like, not everybody in here, we're all going to like each other, but there's going to be a group of guys out of each one of this little group that probably really connect with each other. So
I agree.
It's just, and then I just am trying to be a better person and guide to everybody around me and learn that kind of trait.
Yeah, but also what I think is important, Matt, is this. So you now are feeling more comfortable in the group, right? I
Yes.
noticed you popping in things. Now it's time for you to learn about the group. You've actually done it the right way. You become kind of passive by observing. Now it's time to dive a little deeper in. So Big Mike, who's here, Big Mike is one of the top guys you talked about, right? Have you talked to him?
We just texted each other yesterday.
Like Mike in the apparel industry is a big deal. He's, he gets stuff into Costco, into the big box stores. That's just one of his superpowers. So all of a sudden now you're there. You're part of the group now. You're there. Now it's time for you to learn and find out where the synergies are. And you're in a good place now.
I think so too. A lot of guys have been really welcoming to me. We actually, in the last 3 weeks, decided to launch an entire cannabis brand that we've been developing and producing and all kinds of things. So I was looking for growers and product development. And we actually, within like a couple of guys that I had conversations with within 3 weeks, everything that I had already needed to get done was almost done. So now this thing is going a lot quicker than
And then also, sometimes we've worked through our shit, but the result isn't there. So we think we didn't work through our shit. So sometimes you're not stuck. You're moving, but it's the stuckness you want to be away from. If you're doing it, then that's perfect. That's good. You're on the path.
Good job, Matt. I'm proud of you, buddy.
Way to
Moving
call me
forward.
out. I was not expecting that. Damn, Ken, you are not, you do not hold back, bro.
Not me, that was Roy. That's not me, guys. Stop it.
Here, let me put it on me. Let me give you one of my stories. One time I had a billionaire tell me I was really smart and I had a good idea. And I had never heard that from family or friends ever growing up. And that was the moment that changed my brain. I said, oh, I don't have the right audience, right? And you could tell someone, you know, like even my mom, I spoke at Stanford. She's like, why are you speaking at Stanford? What did they want to hear from you? And it's just like, it is what it is, you know? So getting into that group, you can be a star in the right group.
I just wanted to say it's kind of refreshing because I think a lot of the guys in this group probably have had this mindset, and then the course of getting beaten up over our trials, our tribulations. Maybe some of us have forgotten this because I know I used to walk around with my friends talking this exact same way as Roy. So Roy, it's just refreshing to have that kind of youthful energy and remindance of the way we really probably want to be thinking. And so I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this call.
Thank you, Matt.
I love that he's here, but I think he said something that was really important. Roy, I like that you talked about cycles. So you have cycles that you figured out. The summer is your booming season. The cooler time is for you to almost re-energize so you can rock out again when it's time. The summer pops around. So you know your cycles.
Yes.
And I think what happens often is we need those cycles, and we almost are hesitant to allow ourselves to go through it, so we burn ourselves out.
That's exactly it. You got to let the pendulum swing. You can't stop that thing. And when you're in your good season, it's almost like you're lucky, like you're just powerful, like you're just attracting stuff. And then when you're in your winter, everything's going bad. But that's just the pendulum. That's just how life goes, how you learn, how you grow. Because you can't go up without down, you can't go left without right, and can't have light without dark.
So the other day, my 19-year-old son, who's been living with me for a while, I love him. He wanted to go back and live with his mom for a while, which I'm cool with. So I took him to the airport, and I get home, and my girl goes, I know you're going to go through a hard time because you got some separation anxiety. And she goes like this: you need to give yourself permission to wallow just for today. That's it. Be depressed. Take it, own it, it's yours, but tomorrow you can't be that way. So she put like an egg timer on my depression.
I love that.
I was down. I went shopping and I bought all the wrong food. I bought more popcorn from Trader Joe's than you could ever imagine. I did everything that was wrong. That night, I'm in bed going, it sucks. I woke up in the morning, God, I did it. I'm over the other side. And I wasn't depressed because I gave myself permission. Well, she made me give myself permission.
Yes.
We need to do that, don't we?
We definitely need to do that. The way I explain that is those emotions need to feed on you. And so make them full as fast as possible. And when they're full, they're done eating. And that's exactly what you do. You just let yourself just be. I have days where I'll feel sad and depressed, and I'll just be like, today I'm sad and depressed. I'm gonna lay in bed and just sad. And then the next day, boom, I'm at it.
Yeah, but most of us try to say, screw this sadness. I'm going to work through it, not knowing that we needed that downtime a little to reprogram the code.
All of your problems and pains come from the shoulds. I'm depressed and I shouldn't be depressed. No, it's fine. It's part of a cycle. So let go of the shoulds and shouldn'ts, and it is what it is, and let it be, and things just flow through their cycle. And I'm all about speed. I want to get through things quick, and the only way I know to do that is to let it happen, let it be, let it flow like water.
So I'm kind of jealous. You wrote a book. You wrote a book. You wrote a book. You wrote a book. You got 4 of them out there, and you're about to give birth to a ton of other ones. I am trying just to do one. Rob did a book. There's a couple of guys in the group that have written books. How do you do it? How do you step forward saying, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do, even though the first one's going to be crap probably? How do you get beyond the first is your worst, knowing that you got to get through it to get to that first one to make it happen?
So I have a goal to write a book every 90 days for the next 5 years. My first book took me 2 years to get done. And after getting it done, now I know the pattern and it's just easy to do. It's so hard. And uh, Pressfield calls it resistance. It's so hard to sit down and just write. It's just extremely difficult, but it's hard because it's also easy. You have to block time, allocate time, and sit down and write. What I actually do is I'll get some caffeine. I'll get my stuff done for the day. I'll block out a whole 12 hours and just go at it because I want to be in the same um, state when I'm writing the book. So it flows the same. Because when I wrote my first book, I noticed like one day I'll be angry and you can see it. I sound angry in that part. And one day I'll be happy and I'll sound happy in that part. And so one thing I'll do is I'll sit down for a long time and just boom. Then I go back and I have some strategies and systems to help with that. But I just open up my template, look at it, intro, start with small story, boom, right? Done. Then I look up, okay, state the problem, and I just write.
Wow. It's great to have that template.
I'll get it over to you. It's nothing. Easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can speak your book too. You can drag and dictate that thing, look up at that thing, intro, talk the story, because nobody has talker's block, and then take it, send it to somebody on Fiverr and have them turn it into an actual document.
Talker's block. I like that. Hey, Lance, who are you laying next to? Who are you hanging out with, Lance? Come on, unmute yourself, buddy.
Hello.
Who are you hanging out with?
Friend of mine.
Just kind of listening, and I love that you guys said talker block and you look over and you smile. Guys, I watch all your actions because I want to see how you're reacting to the actual speakers. And I've seen you smile a bunch of times, Lance. It sounds like Roy's been hitting some points with you, right?
Absolutely.
In what areas?
Oh, it's just remembering stuff that I learned that I don't use.
Isn't that so true?
Yeah.
It's so tomorrow. How are you waking up? Are you going to try to do a gratitude? Are you going to try to make sure that you appreciate that nice big breath that you have that's yours?
Yeah, that one's easy for me. The one that I struggle with is going towards those time sucks, Facebook and other bullshit.
Yeah. Just remember, you're part of them making money. I mean, if you got equity in the company, awesome. But if you don't have equity in a company, why do you allow them to make money off of you? That's just the way I see it. Okay, because hey, if I'm part of the company, yep, let those advertisers throw me advertising and they make a ton of money because they do. But if I'm not making any part of that, why am I giving them my time? Yeah. So just a thought. I don't have Facebook anymore. It was taken away from me actually. They removed it, but that's a different story.
You know what got me off that thing is someone told me, I forget who it was. They said, it might have been my dad. He said, be a producer, not a consumer. He said, females consume, they take it in, and male produce, they give it.
It's true. It really
I was like, oh, he said it that way. I was like, oh, I'm done with this thing. And so I just discipline it. Because you still got to produce on the thing. But when you open it, produce on it.
So let's talk about this idea of teaching us old dogs some new tricks, okay? Here we got Harry. Harry is in a very competitive space. He's a content creator. He's got to stay ahead of his game all the time, not just with the tech, but with the new storytelling. Because, you know, one day it might now be vertical. Next thing you know, he has to make TikTok videos for who knows? I don't know. But Harry's got to always be highly competitive. Harry, am I speaking out of turn? Am I right?
No, you're absolutely correct, Ken. And I think, you know, I've been working with Chris Heyman and the Son of Gods, and yeah, it's only accelerated. You know, it really has. The way technology and advertising and storytelling and content creation and the way we consume content, it is just, you know, but fortunately, like all guys in metal, we love that. You know what I mean? We're lifelong learners. You know, we're constantly curious. Otherwise, you know, it would be driving us crazy.
Yeah, but you know what's something about you, and I have to highlight this, maybe because I have a secret, you know, crush on your wife. You have a partner that is 100% supportive of you.
This is true. Going on
But
38 years.
But that's part of the trick then too, is because of that support, she allows you to go into those directions and to always learn and go deep. You don't have those distractions, where a lot of us do have those distractions, where we have a partner that's not fully supportive of us, right? But how do you get that insane how do you always get that creativity, Harry? And I'm wondering if there's something that maybe we can learn from Roy on how to stay creative. How do you do it, Harry?
I think I do it by multidisciplinary. You know, we talk about polymaths a lot. And frankly, it was a class I had in community college that was taught 5 days a week. Day one was history and philosophy. Day two was science and math. Day three was, you know, art and music. It was a humanities course. And we started at prehistoric times up through to the Renaissance, and on to the second semester went up to the information age. And that's stuck with me, how we connect the dots. Again, back to, I think, you know, the group at Metal. You got a diverse group of folks that are skilled and knowledgeable in so many different areas. But to me, it's I'm interested in making the connections, and that's an ever-changing, you know.
I think you even taking the chance of doing Singularity was a big deal too. I mean, that was an expensive process that I think was pretty fulfilling for you.
Speaking about my wife, Ken, have a word with her about that. She still wants to know where the return on that investment is.
There's an ROI. I know there is.
Yeah, I think there is, but oh my God. Yeah.
Again, what was the saying? One's a producer, one's a consumer. What is it again, Roy?
One takes and one gives.
Yeah, she wants that money back is what she wants, but that's different.
Got that right.
Harry, Roy, you were talking about switching from creating to learning.
Uh-huh.
Talk about that.
So someone asked in the chat box, what do you do to get ready for wintertime? And I just switched from producing products. Obviously, my stuff is still out there, but it's on Evergreen. So, you know, funnels and all that good stuff. But I just go more into learning, reading the books. I'll purchase someone's product of something I want to learn. So my last winter time, I actually learned this live stream stuff. So I'm actually using my live stream stuff to go with you on Zoom. And so I learned how to do the live stream, and I took my podcast to live stream, and just how to do lower thirds and all of that stuff.
Are you using Ecamm or Wirecast?
Ecamm.
Ecamm Live. Yeah, that's what I got too. It's a great tool.
Uh-huh. And so it's all out there, man. YouTube, books, and you figure it out. And we all know the psychology stuff of selling already. We've had businesses, but then there's so much technology to keep up with. So just trying to keep up with the technology. And I know you were telling Harry, you were explaining, Harry was saying all these places, TikToks and all of that. You know, my market's on LinkedIn and Instagram. And so I believe that where things are going is to focus on one platform and dominate it instead of trying to distribute to all the platforms, maybe a little bit to all the platforms. And so the only thing that pivots, it seems like in business, is where the eyeballs are. What media are you going to use to get to people? You know, your market's the same, your message the same, your USP is the same, your unique selling proposition is the same, but where are these people at seems to be what switches. And so that's what I try to focus on.
Lon Ray wants to ask a question. He says, what is your biggest failure and how did you rebound from that? I think your girl getting boned by that guy with dreads was a pretty big one.
That was a huge failure. I would say quitting basketball, because even though I lost the desire, I was good, man. I could have played pro, even if not NBA, overseas. And just being around a lot of pros and playing pickup with them, I'd be like, God damn, these guys don't work hard. If I would have stuck with it, I could have took it to another level. Having that money, what I know now in business, I would have been able to really take it to another level. So I would say quitting because people weren't choosing me. And because the one person that I was trying to be good for told me I was good, and just quitting, it it walked me down the boulevard of broken dreams for about 3 years, where I just was depressed and sad for 3, 4 years.
So you've heard that saying, I'm going to paraphrase, I'll get it wrong. Um, do it alone, you go fast. Do it with the right people, you go far.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Do you have your tribe?
I do have a tribe. One is a business owner. He does credit he rebuilds credit. One started a tech company. Another one started a tech company. And then my assistant, I love my assistant. She's a VA. She's actually from the Philippines, but she is like.
Oh, I've seen 90 Day Fiance. I'm just going to let you know the Philippines is very popular amongst them.
Like everything, man. She's just motivational, gets everything done. What else can I do? And so
and she's what, $4 an hour?
$150 a month.
A month.
I give her more than that.
But you know what? Honestly, a side note. Isn't it amazing how incredibly well the Philippines English is?
Oh my gosh. She has her master's degree. I ain't even got a degree. I don't have no degree. You know,
And
over
she's
there,
$150 a month.
and I pay her $150 a month. Now she does get commission on everything she books, and she wanted, like, her dream house is $1 million house, which is $20,000 our money, which she's able to get her house now. So, but yeah, I give her commission on everything she books, all the speeches she
Okay,
gives.
here we go. Everyone wants to know, what VA service do you use? And then can you talk about the process of selecting a VA?
Yeah, so she's my only employee right now. She's my project manager. I posted a ad on Craigslist Manila, and I just posted everything that I wanted. And when you guys post there, you're gonna get 100 people replying. So be ready. And I just have them take the Kolbe test, because I don't want an entrepreneur thinker, a fast, quick start. I want someone who's a good follow through, and Kolbe is Kolbe. And I have them take that test. And then I want good English, good at everything I'm bad at, which is spelling, grammar, writing, all of that type of stuff. And then a high follow through, low quick start on the Kolbe, because I'm a high quick start. I want to quickly start stuff and then stop doing it. I'm tired of it. But if I can quickly start it, hand it off to her, and create a system to where she can do it, she can keep it going with high follow through.
Wow. And right away, you were able to get her?
Yeah, I found her in 2 days.
And then she's the one that came up with that $150 a month?
It started out as just commission, and then we weren't booking for a while, and so I just decided to give her $150 a month. I give her more, but at the very least $150 a month.
Man, that's so impressive. It really is. You must feel really good having. And how have you seen your business change having such a great VA?
Remarkably, because I don't have to worry about things getting done, and I read a lot, I'm learning a lot, and I'm in my my mentor says it, Mozart, is it Mozart that played the piano? He said Mozart never moved a piano, right? So I want to be in my capability and what I love to do as much as possible, which is this. If I could I would do this for free. And so getting paid for what I would do for free is the key. So having her run the systems of how to bring the money in, she emails the event planners, and then she does a follow-up, get them on the phone with me. I hate being on the phone, but I can't teach her that part. You know, she doesn't know that part. So I got to do that part for right now until I get a salesperson. Then I close the deal, and then I go speak, and I'm doing less and less of the shit I hate and more what I love to do because of her. And she loves doing this. She loves this stuff.
I love the idea that you went to the Philippines Craigslist page to do that. I love that idea, because that right there is an out-of-the-box way of thinking.
I got that idea because I was in the medical field the first half of my life, working life. And, you know, the Filipino nurses, they're everywhere. And they're super smart. They're super dialed in. So I was like, let me post to Manila and see what happens. And Over there, she gets paid
Okay, I'm
more
going to
than
show you
what
something.
she does
I
over
want to
there.
show you last thing before we go. I want to show you something. I want to show you something between you and I. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Okay, there you go. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So this is you, tends to be outgoing and is likely trusted. So you can see you and I, this is my image, this is your image, and we can see where we're at on this diagram. So under trustful and skeptical, you can see you're more trusting when it comes to people. I'm more skeptical. You're more optimistic. I'm more of a pragmatist. And we could just kind of see this pattern between you and I. This is where it gets interesting. I want to scroll down right here. Look at this. What comes naturally to Roy? Tell me if you agree with that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's go with energizes you. You see that? This is what energizes you. The one I wanted to touch upon was this one. What drains Roy? You see that?
Where did you get this? Hold on. How did you do this?
Pretty cool, right?
I hate feeling micromanaged. I hate authority. Oh my gosh. So
Right.
bad.
So all these are accurate.
Very.
This is what I want. Roy, I'm going to end it like this. I'd like to see you join our posse. I'd like to see you find us as a tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you spent time with us. You opened up your mind, your ideas, and you gave us some great wisdom tonight. And I really, really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to see you come on our side and hang out with us a little more, because I think we add great value to your life as well as you could add to ours.
Yes.
So I hope to see you more often. Hey guys, let's all unmute ourselves and let's thank.
Absolutely would love
Way to
it.
go, buddy.
Thanks,
Roy, you're the
Roy.
man,
Thanks,
baby.
Roy.
Good news only.
Great stuff.
Good news only,
Thank
baby.
you.
Roy,
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Roy.
Roy.
Thank
Bye
you.
guys. Talk to y'all later.
Yeah, guys,
Bye.
Harry,
Thank
in
you.
the house.
Bye.